It's time for the Brouhaha Sports Show. Brouhaha Sports with award-winning sports writer Dale McKee and co-host Marshall Wood. Talking sports with the legends of the game and famous sports personalities. Brouhaha! Now to Marshall and Dale with tonight's guest.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Brouhaha. My friend and partner, Dale McKee, is back. We missed you last week.
Was I gone?
You were gone for part of the show.
Okay.
You were gone for the. You made the middle, but
Yeah.
you missed in the front and the back. So we missed you on the front end, and we missed you on the back end. But Charlie Britton he stepped up.
Did he?
And did the best he could.
Is that what you call it?
I thought he did a great job.
Well, I listened to the program.
Yeah. Well, then you ought to know he did a great job.
Well, I'm not going to comment.
I got your text. Charlie, he's texting about you. You better watch him. How'd your week go?
It went well, except for the rain.
Did you find the Brouhaha anywhere?
I did. I found it on YouTube.
Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I listened to it actually coming back.
Oh, okay. I was talking about like another personal Brouhaha encounter. Did you get involved in any Brouhahas while you were away?
Could have. I was in a tourist area.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Myrtle Beach.
Myrtle Beach?
Yeah. Have you ever been there?
No, I can't afford to go to Myrtle Beach.
Okay.
Must be nice. I go to places a lot closer, like the Chickasay River.
Yeah.
The sandbar down there, Buckatona Creek, Big Creek.
Yeah.
Patton Creek.
I can't afford that.
You can't afford that?
No, I can't afford a boat.
I ain't got a boat.
All a boat means is, hey, I got to pay another $1,000.
You run out. You go south on 45 on 145 out of Waynesboro, and you cross Patton Creek. You don't need no boat. You can just jump right off of the bridge.
And fish?
Creek. No, I don't.
Just go down and fish.
No, I
grab
swim.
them, bring them up.
Swim.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, Dale, it's good to have you back. See your sideline view, all kind of stuff going on. Baseball going on. We got the tournament going on. I guess what you call this tournament, the College World Series, stepping up. That's going on. Mm-hmm. Who's playing in that?
Well, there's a bunch of teams playing.
Yeah. Let's talk about that in the final segment.
Okay, there's 8 teams.
8 teams.
But the two you need to look out for is LSU and Florida. Just letting you know ahead of time.
Well, Wake Forest, you don't have to worry about them. You think LSU and Florida are the teams, huh? Man, you're the baseball guy now. I believe you.
Well, I haven't seen enough of Wake Forest, so I'm not going to slide them in any way.
Yeah.
And they are a great story, just like Oral Roberts is a great story.
Yeah.
But I just really believe that, Florida's three pitchers could be all 5 first-round picks.
Wow.
And I've seen 2 of them up there so far. The boy that transferred from Southern Miss pitched Sunday, and he struck out like 12 in 6 innings. I was just thinking, what if Southern Miss would have had him?
Yeah.
Against Tennessee.
The transfer portal. Man, it's killing us.
Killing us,
Whitey.
Killing people. But anyway, you can't look back, son. You got to look ahead.
That's right. What was it Satchel Paige told me? He said, never run when you can walk, never walk when you can sit, never sit when you can lay down, and don't look back because something might be gaining on you.
Always.
Good policy.
Don't look back.
Well, let's look forward. Okay. Let's look forward to our interview tonight.
Okay.
Now, tell us about that. I tell you, this is it's a Mississippi State name you got around here. And it's also a local guy. Huh?
Yeah, we have a Royce Blackledge. He played offensive tackle at Mississippi State, and I think it was 3 through 7 or 8. So he's had a couple coaches up there. So he's going to tell us about that, and we'll ask him about everything else. We'll ask him about the SEC 2024 schedule and what he thinks about the scheduling for Mississippi State, because they took their 3 biggest rivals basically away from them, just about people they had been playing the longest. Alabama's only about a 45-50 minute drive from them, and then I'm not going to play them. I don't think they're going to play Auburn next year. So, that's two of them right there. That's two big rivals. Luckily, they kept Ole Miss on the schedule.
Yeah.
And I don't believe they're going to play LSU either next year.
Well,
So I think in the final deal, I hadn't figured out states, but I just figure out that some of these teams that you're playing now will be teams that when they finally decide the three that you're going to play every year.
right.
I think it'll come from these that they're playing this in 2024. I really believe that Ole Miss will always play Mississippi State, Arkansas, and LSU.
Yeah.
Because really, if you look at them, they are kind of old rivals to them.
Yeah.
And everything. I remember the great games that Ole Miss and LSU played, for years in the 60s and the 70s. And I remember the great Arkansas teams and Ole Miss in the 60s playing in those days. And they were always big ball games. And a lot of times that might be the only loss a team would get that year.
Right.
Was to each other. So, but I'm really looking forward to see how it all. I think that you have to change to keep up with the times, and I guess that's what they're doing.
Yeah.
Now a lot of us don't like it,
Well, you know what though? Rocky said it. In Rocky 4, if I can change and you can change, maybe we can all change. You ever seen Rocky 4?
I did, the Big Russian.
Remember that line?
Yep.
So maybe we can change.
I ain't gonna change very much.
Well, listen, I'll tell you what let's do, Dale. It's been a good opening volley with you. Good to have you here with us. And I'm excited about your trip to Myrtle Beach. We'll hear more than that off the record. But I tell you what, let's take a break and hear from our sponsor. And we'll be back with tonight's guest right after this commercial.
Phillips Building Supply in Laurel, your hometown building supply store since 1954. We are locally owned and pride ourselves on helping our customers find exactly what they need. From foundations to roofs to doors and windows, Phillips has it. For tools, hardware, lumber, and plywood, visit Phillips Building Supply.
Welcome to the show, Royce Blackledge. How's everything in Laurel, Mississippi today, Royce?
Hey guys, it's great to be on the show today. I appreciate y'all having me. Everything's good. The weather's not raining right now, so that's a good thing right now.
Yes, sir. It is. But it depends on where you live, whether it's raining or not. I really think that sometimes. Hey,
that's right.
Okay, now are you excited about football season? We got less than 30 days to the SEC Media Days, and we probably got less than 100 days till college football kicks off for real. So, what's your thoughts on football in general right now? How's it? What do you think the players are doing right now?
Right now, this is probably one of the most important times of the year. The summer workouts and training, the guys are working to really get bigger and faster and stronger. So they're putting a lot of work in behind the scenes right now. They're putting in some long hot days on the practice field and in the weight room that you don't really hear a whole lot about right now. But there's a lot of excitement right now. I know everybody's getting geared up and ready for it, and I know we are especially.
Well, let's start with your youth. Okay, now you grew up in the Laurel area and you went to Northeast Jones. So just tell us about your first football experience all the way up to the high school and how you ended up in Mississippi State.
Yeah, so I grew up in Sandersville, Mississippi, just north of Laurel. I know you know where that's at, but grew up there. Of course, played youth league there at Sandersville Elementary School. I went on to play high school at Northeast Jones. Worked hard, set high goals for myself throughout my high school years. Tried to worked hard. Lifted weights, competed. There was a good group of us. At Northeast Jones when I was there, played with some really good guys. Travis West was one. He went on to play at Alabama. Eric Wyndham was another one that went on to play at Jones, and there were several others there in my time there that went on. That we were very like-minded in setting high goals and working out and working hard together. And growing up, I was an Alabama fan. We went to games in Tuscaloosa. My dad would take me We had some family friends up there that gave us season tickets, and we would go to Tuscaloosa and watch ball games. And I guess it was my junior year in high school where I got invited to attend some camps up there at Mississippi State, and went up there and just fell in love with it. Really liked the atmosphere, liked the coaching staff up there. It was Coach Sherrill was in there at that time, and just had a really good experience from the first time that I went up there. And I knew that was home. That if I got the opportunity to play college football, that's where I wanted to be, and that's what I did.
That's a great time. I know Northeast had some really good teams. Maybe right before you get there, I'm talking about great teams. State championship teams. So y'all were still very competitive during your time there. All right, so you get to Mississippi State, and luckily, they tell high school kids now, or I think some coaches do. They say, don't sign with a school because of the coach, because the coach may not be there very long. And you experienced that up at Mississippi State, right?
I did. My first year, I was Coach Sherrill's last signing class up at Mississippi State. I love Coach Sherrill to death. He's a great coach, great man. But that was something that's one thing that's common really throughout college football as a whole today is, you look at the coaching life at any given school is, it's not but, 3 or 4 years, maybe. So that's something to be expected. But at the same time, as I did think a lot of Coach Sherrill and the coaching staff up there, it was more about the college is why I wanted to be there. The location of the college, just Mississippi State felt like home. And you're right. I mean, the recruiting nowadays does look a lot different than it did back then with the NIL deals that are out there right now. It's recruiting has really changed a lot since then. When I was coming up, it was more about, hey, let's look at these. They would bring guys in, and it was about the facilities and the campus, and look what we've got to offer. Well, now, it's not quite like that anymore. Guys are really looking to see, well, what can you do for me? So the whole NIL deal has really changed the look of college football and recruiting, across the country as a whole.
Well, listen. So you're speaking about your time up there. Now y'all didn't have some really great years when Coach Kroom first came in to replace Coach Sherrill, but before it was over, y'all went to a bowl game, right?
We did. We had some building years. 2004 through 2006, we had some tough years. We had some building years. Coach Kroom was, he was big on building character in young men and young athletes, and he was not as concerned about wins and losses as he was about the character of the young man. So we did go through several difficult years. We lost many close ball games. There was a couple of years there in 2005 and 6 where we lost several close ball games. You're one kick away from winning the ball game, and we came up short those years. But in 2007 we bounced back and won a few more ball games. We went on to play in the Liberty Bowl that year in 2007. We won it, played Central Florida, and had a really good experience doing and playing that year. So it was definitely a good feeling with all the work that had been put in my 5 years up there, to be able to finish it out strong and come out winning a bowl game.
Royce, this is Marshall. I'm going to kind of seize on the concept there and kind of back up a little bit and talk to you. Looking at your high school years as a student athlete, what what's your fondest high school sports memory that you played as you were playing in high school? Do you have one?
There's several of them that I've got. When I was in high school, like I said before, we played with some really great guys, some talented guys. We were playing in Laurel. I believe it was in 2002. Had a really good group of guys. And it was, I believe we were playing to get to the South State Championship. And we came up just a little bit short in it. But at that point, we had a group of guys out there that really, it was a turning point. Guys came together there at the end, and the relationships that you built in those during that time. When the going gets tough and you get down in the trenches, guys come together. And you build those lifelong relationships, and that's what I build off of that, and try to encourage these young guys now to really take that and build off of those relationships that you build while you're playing in these right now.
As you transitioned into the next level, what were some of the things that were most difficult for you in moving from being a high school athlete to playing, being on a roster of an SEC program? Were there some difficult times for you? How did that transition work out for you as an individual?
It is. It's a huge transition. Making it when you're what I call the top dog in your local area, and you move up to a Southeastern Conference school where, hey, you're 18 years old coming in. There's guys up there that have been there for 5 years that are 22, 23-year-old men that, hey, it's a huge transition to make in that aspect. That was probably one of the most difficult things. And one thing that I was fortunate. There was some guys that I played with up there. David Stewart's one, a really good friend of mine now. He went on to play in the NFL for 9 years. And he was a veteran whenever I got there, but we had a lot of the same interests. We liked to hunt and fish together. So I took advantage of that, the likeness there, and really invited him home. I think that's third weekend that I was up there. We invited him home hunting, and really, so I had him on my side, and I think that was one of the biggest things to help me get through that, was having that mentor there.
Yeah.
That had been there. He had gone through the trenches, and you could, he would just kind of help lead the way, pretty much, and he set a great example of what a mentor and a leader should be. David was a man of few words, but at the same time, he led by his actions, and that was probably one of the best examples that I got when I was up there.
Yeah. If you were speaking to a group of high school kids today that really had next level opportunities coming up, what advice would you give to some high school juniors, high school seniors that really might have an opportunity to go to the next level? What would you tell those guys?
The biggest thing that I would tell them would be to set goals in life, set high goals, and work hard to meet those goals. Compete and do the very best that you can in whatever it is that you're doing. And I think one of the biggest things that come with that are priorities. You've got to set your priorities straight and know what's important, and that's where you're going to focus, and that's where you're going to put your time. And for me, of course, I'm a firm believer, follower of Christ, and that was my main goal. I tried to, whatever I did, I tried to do it to the glory of God. And then the next was my family, and then sports, football came after that. So it was very important in my life, And that's what I would tell them. Hey, set goals, follow your dreams, and work hard, and don't ever settle for less. Strive to be the very best that you can be. And dreams, they will come true. Just keep working hard and going, and you'll see results. That's what I would tell them.
Well, I tell you what, that's some great advice. You talk about foundations to build upon. Family in Christ. I mean, there you go, buddy. We appreciate you standing up and sharing that with us today. We appreciate it. Dale, what you got?
Well, I was going to ask him about. I mean, I know that you went to college, and for more reason than just to play football. And I know you had some great highlights and during your college career. But tell us about what you might have majored in, how it was maybe a little bit different from high school. So if we got any high school kids listening to the program, they can understand what to prepare for up there academically. Did you already know what you were going to major in going up there, or did you just have to kind of search?
I had a pretty good idea. I knew I've always been, our construction has always really kind of sparked my interest. I've always been really interested in that. And when I got up there, there was a program up there. It was a business administration degree that I've got in construction, management of construction and land development. And that's what I got my 4-year bachelor's degree in, and was able to complete that within 4 years, and later went on to get my master's degree in industrial technology. So, that's what I went to school for and got my degree in. There's many degrees out there, and I know as an 18-year-old kid, you don't really know what all is out there. You really don't know what all you want to do. So I do encourage the younger guys to. Of course, I know now too. There's many probably surveys that tell your different likenesses and different areas of study that you would probably excel more than in others. But construction was one for me, and that's what I'm doing today. I've been working for Larry Summerall Contractors now for 15 years. Worked out in the field as a project superintendent for 12 years, and I've been in the office now, project managing and estimating for 3 going on 4 years. And I tell you, every day is a challenge, and I just really enjoy what I do. But there's the field is wide open, and I just encourage anybody to like I said, to strive for your goals and do the very best that you can do in whatever area it is that you're working.
Goals being like a vision, the word says without it, people perish. Listen, we're about out of time. I told you early on that that's my job, main job, timekeeper. Royce, we sure appreciate you taking your time to be with us and share about your life and some wonderful messages interjected throughout this time. We appreciate you, buddy. Thank you so much.
Hey, thanks for having me.
We're going to ask you to hold on with us. Dale and I are going to take a break. We're going to hear from one of our sponsors, and we'll be back with tonight's final segment right after this word.
Phillips Building Supply in Laurel, your hometown building supply store since 1954. We are locally owned and pride ourselves on helping our customers find exactly what they need. From foundations to roofs to doors and windows, Phillips has it. For tools, hardware, lumber, and plywood, visit Phillips Building Supply.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome back. It's not good evening. We've already good evening, everybody, and had an interview, and what a great guy.
He did a good job for us.
I'm
just glad the insight that he gave us.
Yeah, local, the Northeast Jones, man, that's pretty close to home.
It was, right?
You can go way out and get them, or you can get them right across the line.
Right. Well, now, he was a big old boy.
Yeah.
He was a big old boy.
Now, we kind of talked a little bit about the College World Series. Tell us where we are in the process and who's up and when who's up next. You said to watch Florida and LSU, right? Is that who you said to watch? Well, what's going on with the schedule with the CWS?
Well, I just look at it, and I mean, there's just been so many close games, through Sunday's games. Out of the first 6 games, 5 of them had been decided by 1 run.
Man, that's what you really want, though, isn't it?
Yeah. And of course, Oral Roberts, one of their boys hit an inside park home run. That was thrilling last night. And like I said, the boy from Georgia that's pitched for Southern a couple times, he pitched 6 innings. Houston Waltrip, I believe his name was. It's on the tip of my tongue there, but I believe that's the way you pronounce his name. TCU, the thing about TCU, they had a national championship game of football. And now they're trying to get there in baseball.
What's wrong with those people?
A bunch of Christians out there.
They want them to win.
Trying to make a name. I don't know. Oral Roberts, they got a little religious
I know.
affiliation.
You know who it is. We're not going to say it.
Hey, Wake Forest is really kind of a Christian school too, so we have a lot of people praying for those 3 teams, I'm sure.
Yeah, well, I tell you what, that goes a long way. I know from personal experience.
Yeah, and of course now Stanford, this is their 3rd straight year there, and of course, they were going to play yesterday afternoon.
I've got an accident going on over here, Dale.
Yeah, I
dropped my phone.
I can tell.
When you drop a phone these days, man, that's the end of the world coming about.
I'm sorry, folks. I apologize. I am embarrassed just like you are. My face is red, I promise you.
Oh, so did you finish? Did you finish what you were telling the people while I was trying to get my phone? Did you finish yet?
Yeah, we were talking about whether you need to shave or not.
Well, I can answer the question to that. That's going to be a yes. I always need to shave because I never do.
I got you. Anyway.
Oh, well, but you like, so you got it down to two SEC schools.
Well, I'm not going to rule out Wake Forest, but I really believe that, and TCU's a kind of a story there of their own, but they did lose opening day, so it is almost impossible to lose the first game of the College World Series. They did a stat on that the other day, and if you lose the first game of the World Series, you just have an uphill climb, and it's like it's in the 90% chances of you even reaching the championship series, So, but I just, you look at the pitching. Ole Miss was fortunate last year. They really only had 2 pitchers, but they got a great game out of one of their little used pitchers that they had up there, and that's what propelled them. And then they had kids coming out of the bullpen that gave them quality innings.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody just played their best.
Yeah.
And that's what you got to have up here. But LSU and Florida are so talented. And of course, now Wake Forest will hit the ball.
Yeah.
You can ask Alabama. I mean, that last game they played against Alabama.
They lit it up
in the regionals. They got like 20-something runs,
That's crazy.
So, you just don't do that in Super Regional.
Yeah. You're talking about the losing early. And you told us this or told me this. It may have been on the show back, before the Super Regional at Hattiesburg took place. And you said you want to stay out of that. No, it wasn't a Super Regional. It was a regional. You said you want to stay out of that losers bracket as long as you can.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing spills over to the.
Well, you have that extra game.
Yeah.
You get to the championship game, and you already played one more game than everybody else.
Yeah.
That does affect your pitching.
Yeah.
That does affect your pitching.
Well, Dale, it looks like we're about out of time tonight. I appreciate all you do, and it's good to have you back. You just without you.
Well, I do really appreciate Charlie trying to fill in for me. Trying to fill in. Did I use that word? Trying to fill in for me.
It's hard to do, Dale. It's hard to do.
I know.
We want to remind everybody that they can follow us on Facebook at the Brouhaha, and also go back and listen to all of our shows that we got cataloged on our YouTube channel, which is the Brouhaha. But you know what? It's time. It's time, Dale, that we need to say goodbye.
Goodbye, Dale.
Goodbye, Dale. We'll see you next week for more of the Brouhaha. Take us out of here, Jamie.
You've been listening to the Brouhaha with Dale McKee and Marshall Wood. Heard Tuesday evening, 6 p.m. on WABO. For more of the Brouhaha, follow us during the week on Facebook and WABO.